Well, hey everybody, I'm John Ritlin. This is Rapid Fire episode 88. It's a mixed bag of topics here, including a few that myself and the Derb recently discussed on the review of Raw we just did last night. That's pretty goddamn recent, I'd say. This is going to be kind of a recurring trend. Maybe not every single week, but we'll see. So it'll probably be every week. But if it's after a pay-per-view and there's some like super bullshit that happened after the review the next day or within the next 2 days, I may do a video like this, a rant or a rapid fire, and discuss certain topics and everything, and just collect my thoughts and really think about what I want to say and everything, so I don't go absolutely nuts. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love going absolutely nuts and showing my passion of 34 plus years watching wrestling, and the fact that some of this stuff is really fucking stupid. At the end of the day, a lot of it is wrestling, and that these are people too, and that I need to remember that, and a lot of people need to remember that. So that being said, this way the reviews can just be focused on the match results, where the angles are going, and, Derb and myself can throw out our, anger a little bit and our passion for wrestling when we want to, but this way the reviews don't get dragged down. I can do solo videos and you guys can enjoy them. So, as I said, got a few topics here, so I'm going to dive right into it. That's basically the overlay, and I'll probably end up doing that, for occasional videos, but here we go. Going to talk about the WWE 2K20 cover Backlash, because it's Roman and Becky Lynch. You feel however you want about the wrestling characters. I love Becky. I really do. I'm starting to think that maybe she's cooling off a little bit. I like her more as a tweener character than a straight-up babyface, even though she is quite likable. Who knows what's going to happen at SummerSlam? I am recording this, 5 days before SummerSlam. Forgive me for not having the clairvoyance to see if Becky's going to lose the title. I don't think she is, but Becky and Roman are on the cover. And I've seen some backlash towards Becky being on the cover, and okay, whatever. You got some people that just don't like Becky for whatever reason. That's okay. I mean, some of it's unreasonable, and maybe, step off of that, take it easy. But some of it is from people that, oh, a woman's on the cover, I won't buy the goddamn thing. Okay, it's a fucking video game cover. It's a fucking video game cover, guys. That's all it fucking is. It's not going to affect the gameplay unless the cover is going to, be in the background of, every single, match that you have, and you have to watch that. And even then, it's still a fucking video game cover. That will also be a really bad design flaw, but that's just what it is. Becky being on the cover, great. Good. You know what? At least, hey, it's Becky. At least it's somebody on the current roster, and they're not using, a woman that isn't on the current roster or something like that. I don't see how this representation is necessarily bad. I hope Sonya in a few years can be featured on the cover. Maybe if they push her as a star and everything and stuff like that, or maybe they can do custom covers and she could be on there in a few years, that kind of stuff. The whole point is it doesn't matter who's on the cover, but you know what the biggest criticism is? And I'm not knocking. You can feel about Becky however you want. If you like her, great. If you think she's boring, okay. I mean, I don't agree, but I'm not saying you're wrong because it's your opinion. Then there are the people that are saying, oh, Roman Reigns is on the cover. What the fuck is Roman Reigns done? Roman Reigns getting shoved down our goddamn throats and everything. Let me make it clear, I am not a goddamn fan of Roman Reigns. The wrestling character. The human being I have no issue with. And I'm very, very glad that he was in remission after a few months and stuff like that. And he seemed to be doing better. And he's not necessarily in the title picture right now, so it is what it is. I'm not a fan of the wrestling character necessarily. I mean, he's better than he was. He's not being, I guess, super overexposed. I mean, even though they've been doing quite a bit of shit with the wild card thing and the whole feud with Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre losing in, 3 times within 2 months. And that's more uncreative than it is anything else. So here's where I'm really going to get upset about the whole thing with Roman. People are like, oh, well, what'd he do, or whatever. There are people that are still feeling he faked his cancer. And let me just say this, you can feel however you want about the goddamn character. And it's a very vocal minority of inbred moronic fucks that feel that Roman Reigns faked his cancer. Let me say this, I can separate my hatred of or my dislike of a wrestling character from the person. As far as I know, Roman Reigns is not a criminal, has not done anything terribly egregious, isn't a racist, isn't a wife beater, isn't all this stuff and everything, and it isn't somebody like, Seth Rollins. I mean, I'm not saying Seth Rollins is nearly as bad as any of those I mentioned. He ain't having the bad Twitter exchanges like Seth Rollins or whatever, coming across like a terrible douche. But whatever. I mean, Seth Rollins still gets in the ring and busts his ass, and I'll give him credit for that. But with Roman, they feel that, oh, he faked his cancer. The people who do this, who say this, know who the fuck they are. They know who they're fans of, and you guys are idiots. You guys are fucking goddamn morons if you think that Roman Reigns faked his cancer. Because once again, or the company played it up and everything and stuff like that. The company has everything to lose from Roman Reigns. One of their top guys, whether I like it or not, he is one of their top guys. Taking him out of the picture for 4 months just to have this triumphant return and everything, when they also have sponsors and so many, partnerships with all this stuff. Connor's Cure, Susan G. Komen, which is Susan G. Scammon with how little money they give to cancer research, but it's still something for cancer research. All the stuff they do for, Make-A-Wish kids and stuff like that, they're going to risk all that to get Roman Reigns over when it would be found out. Because all this shit can get found out. As much stuff as we as fans still do not know about wrestling. We know what they want us to know. And we can find out some stuff through research. You really goddamn think WWE is going to do that? I give Vince a ton of shit. One thing I will not give Vince shit for is he paid for Harley Race to get some kind of flight because his Medicare or medical or whatever wouldn't cover it. And Vince paid it in full within 10 minutes and made sure that Harley had a nice little, last few days with everybody. And he was able to live in comfort or go in peace, basically. So, bravo to Vince for that. You really think Vince is going to do this kind of stuff, especially now? If the company was not publicly traded, okay, sure. Yeah, Vince could do this kind of stuff. Because there were a lot of wrestling companies that did a whole lot of shit to get people over and everything. And, there were fake heart attacks and stuff like that. Or fake injuries or fake whatever. There's not a goddamn positive to WWE doing this. The negatives so far outweigh the positives. So once again, if you feel that Roman Reigns faked his cancer, fuck you. You goddamn inbred hicks. And you goddamn brainless morons. Fucking hell. Like, seriously. And if any of you fuckers decide to comment on this, okay, good luck. You guys are idiots. And the people know who the fuck they are. I am not a fan of Roman Reigns, but good fucking God. He did not fake his cancer. Yeah, I got unreasonably angry about the stuff with Brock and everything, and Brock being champion or winning Money in the Bank and stuff like that. And sure, maybe I got a little too fired up about that because of the storyline purpose and everything. This is a man's life. You don't think that Reigns would be a stand-up enough guy to say, hey, I'm not going to do that. Because he has kids. He's got kids. He's got kids. Yeah, the whole Slater thing. Where is Slater, by the way? Moving on. Yeah, his wife wouldn't go for it. I guarantee you Reigns wouldn't go for it. And Reigns would not want to set that example for his kids. So, once again, wrestling character, okay, whatever. I'm kind of meh on him. Human being, I'm just glad he beat leukemia, and however the treatment went. Oh, he didn't lose his hair. He didn't lose muscle mass and this kind of stuff. I've known plenty of people that have various forms of leukemia and cancer. Some didn't lose their hair. Some didn't lose muscle mass. It just depends on the treatment. Depends how their body responds to it. Do some goddamn research. I know it's hard for you guys to do that because none of y'all motherfuckers can read or spell from the way you guys comment and everything, and you know who the fuck you are. And I don't mean on this video. I mean on Twitter. Oh, Reigns faked his cancer, all this stuff. Once again, fuck you. Fuck everybody else that agrees with you. So, now we move on to a lighter news, I think. It's the 24/7 OG BYN stuff. This is where I'm just going to... I'm not going to fault the participants. It is what it is. This isn't funny. It's just not funny to me. There are better ways to use people. And the way they're using this is just not good. Hey, it gets Mike Kanellis on screen. Okay, great. Maria, I hope Maria and Mike have a nice, healthy child. I don't even think they know the gender of the baby. Not that it fucking matters. They got a beautiful daughter. I think they have a daughter. They're happy to have a kid. Great. Happy to have another kid. Awesome. I hate the storyline. I think it's stupid. And I think maybe they were realizing it and were like, well, shit, we need to blow this off and we need to get rid of this. They're not going to get rid of the title. It's just, if the whole point of it was to get more people on screen, you could have done it easier. Make tag teams, this kind of stuff. I've said this stuff before and everything, but I didn't find it funny. I didn't. I don't like it. I think it's moronic. And some people can like it because they think, stupidity in wrestling is fine. To me, This is a slap in the face to, anything that you're trying to take seriously. Now, does that mean that anybody participating in the segments are bad? No. I just don't particularly like it. So now we move on to the Roman Reigns and Joe segments and everything from last night's Raw. So we have the whole thing with Roman. What's Roman doing or whatever? Oh, Roman hasn't come to the arena. Joe's like demanding an apology or whatever. He was not the one that pushed all that, scaffolding, whatever shit on him. That didn't end up happening. So, okay, it wasn't Joe that did. Joe did not do that to Joe. It was Rikishi. Of course it was Rikishi. So they do this whole thing where Joe's holding up Raw. And then, they go back and everything. And he's trying to confront Roman Reigns in the parking lot. And Roman Reigns, it's a really awkward exchange, by the way. It was not very well done. I mean, it was better done than that whole thing of like where the thing fell but didn't fall on Roman. And what happens is somebody hits him. And yeah, I guess Roman didn't take away Jimmy Uso's keys. I'm sorry. And I heard people making that joke all over the goddamn internet, so I figured I'd just make it here. Hopefully Jimmy Uso does get his issues in order because he's also got kids. And he's got a career to keep going. But this thing, the whole idea is, who did this to Roman Reigns? Who did this? Who's basically trying to murder Roman Reigns? This is what you wanted you wanted the Attitude Era back, guys. Here's this bullshit. There is no reason to do this stuff with like stuff falling on Roman and who's attacking Roman Reigns and stuff like that. This was again better than the whole, stuff falling on him, falling on him on SmackDown. And the one thing I do want to say about that though is people were like about Kayla's bad acting, Kayla's bad, this kind of stuff. Put somebody else in that freaking bullshit segment, you're going to get the same reaction. I don't think Kayla was that bad because it was a stupid segment. Who the fuck could have made that work? Nobody. Even Reigns was like brushing off like, no, I'm fine. I can just brush this stuff up. I mean, hey, he beat leukemia, so good for him. Seriously, I mean, he beat leukemia, he can do just about any goddamn thing. Because there aren't a lot of people that beat that. That form of it or anything. He did beat leukemia. And once again, fuck you guys that don't believe that he had leukemia. You guys are fucking idiots. So, with this, somebody runs a car into Roman Reigns' vehicle and then speeds off. Then Joe instantly kind of turns pseudo babyface or whatever and is like, wait, get a medic, and all this. And this was not a good segment. This was not a good segment. And the reason this was not a good segment is it was so awkwardly done. Now Samoa Joe, he was legit. Roman Reigns, okay. I'm not saying Reigns is acting with badges. This whole thing, if this is trying to drum up sympathy for Reigns, well, I don't know if it's working. But I will tell you that I don't know who the fuck's going to be the attacker. It's going to be Daniel Bryan. It's going to be Daniel Bryan because that's what his announcement was. His announcement is, I'm going to try to murder Roman Reigns to save the planet. I'm not sure that's how it works, but if he's going to go with an an eco-friendly, aka eco, attacker role, then, well, that would actually make sense because a lot of those eco people are insane. But I just don't know what they're doing with this. But I will say this. Is it getting more sympathy on Reigns? Well, it's getting more than the whole Brock-Seth beatdown thing. They are trying to make Seth sympathetic and fucking nobody is buying it. And that's not to say that Seth isn't a great wrestler. That's not to say Brock isn't an actual beast and a badass and everything. I'm not saying he isn't. I don't give two shits about this match. I fucking don't. The beatdown last week was shit. The beatdown this week was shit. It made Rollins look like an idiot. Hey, I'm going to run down there or whatever, totally beat up, and try to take down a fresh Brock Lesnar. It makes it sound like he's hunting him in the wild or something like that. But it's just, what the fuck? What was this? And then, Rollins does this promo where he's like, is it worth it? Yes, it is. I'm going to beat Brock Lesnar. I'm going to do this. Fucking Christ. Stop with this. Just stop with this bullshit because it's not good TV. It's not good shit, pal. It's just not. God damn. I gotta stop doing that Vince impression because it kind of hurts my throat. But yeah, I just don't get what they're trying to do here because it's like, okay, they took the title off of Rollins, put it on Brock. If they're just gonna put it back on Rollins, the next night Drew needs to come out. Either whoever, if Rollins regains the title, okay, Drew needs to come out and just destroy him the next night. If Brock retains, Drew needs to come out and destroy him the next night. That's what you do. You want to hotshot it, you get the title off of Brock. But this whole feud, I didn't really care for the feud up to Mania, and I don't care for this feud. I just don't think it's that good. I don't think it's good TV. But then we get, I'm going to choose my words carefully here, because I wanted to get a lot angrier. I'm still angry about it. But the state of the Women's Tag Team Championships. Okay. Let's make the WWE, the Women's Tag Team Championships. And I'm trying to repeat that in my head, because I totally fucking forgot they had a Women's Tag Team division and a tag team title. Because, yeah, they hyped it up for a little bit and everything, and they built all this stuff up, and then they had an Elimination Chamber in a decent match. Actually, wasn't that bad of a match. I thought it was a pretty fun match with a whole bunch of teams. Of course, Carmella was getting, like, booed out of the goddamn building because of the whole, situation that happened with her and Corey and whatever. Water's under the bridge now, even if I don't necessarily agree with it is what it is. But with this, you had Sasha and Bayley win. Okay, cool. You had the Iconics win at Mania in a 4-way match. You didn't see the Iconics much at all as champion. I mean, they would have, I think they had one match against a couple jobbers where they defended the titles. It was either the SmackDown after or soon, the SmackDown, a SmackDown soon after Mania. And then you had nothing that happened on the pre-show of a pay-per-view. And mind you, there were 3 pay-per-views between this. This was also 6 days before SummerSlam and everything, and they just suddenly decided to throw out a women's tag team title 4-way, an elimination match. So, they do that. They do this pseudo little feud thing where first they were going to have the Iconics feud with the, Kairi and Asuka, the Kabuki Warrior. I don't like the Kabuki Warrior's name. I don't. If they're happy with it, it's fine. And by the way, Io Shirai is not Asuka. Whoever the fuck did that, graphic. Well, it's probably Kevin Dunn because he thinks all Japanese women look alike. Yes, I'm going to make those assumptions about Kevin Dunn because he's a goddamn piece of shit. Anyway, so you had the Iconics and you had Asuka and Kairi. They kind of built up this feud, and then Asuka and Kairi beat him on a tour of Japan, I believe, and then a brief tour of Japan, and then had a match on SmackDown, and it was like 2 minutes, and then the Iconics left as a way to get some heat. This would have been fine if they would have built on it. But then Sonya and Mandy, we're going to get a tag title match. And if they won the match, they would get a tag title match. And I'm not knocking Mandy with that. I do hope that people understand. It's just that's what happens when you over fucking script people to the point that they almost say over script fucking people. Because like I just said, stop over scripting people. Mandy and Sonya seem like they're at least competent talkers on TV. They're actually better than competent. But I'm just like, don't overscript people. Because then the words are going to come out and it's going to be like, Sid's I have half the brain that you do promo. I mean, it wasn't that bad. But it just made everybody seem stupid. It's like, why don't you let people talk naturally? Give them bullet points. Anyway, enough of that. That didn't happen. Last week on SmackDown, that did not happen. Okay. Alright, whatever. Suddenly, without even much hype, I think like they hyped it the day of. We get the Iconics defending the women's SmackDown tag titles. The women's tag titles against Asuka and Kairi Sane. Paige is also there. And Sonya and Mandy. And Alexa and Nikki. The instant I saw Alexa and Nikki were put there, I knew what was going to happen. The Iconics dominate at first. The crowd doesn't give a shit about this match, by the way. Fuck that crowd, by the way. Even though I don't blame them for being totally dead after Sonya beating down Seth, which I actually would pop for, to be fair. But the Seth Brock thing and then the Roman, Joe thing, that didn't really work all that well. After all that, the crowd was pretty dead. They also have had no reason to care about the women's tag team division despite the talent in here. And these women, this was given like 21 minutes. This is how you use a multiple women's match to get other people over. This is how you do it. The Iconics dominated at first, and then, Mandy hit a pretty nice, knee. Pretty nice, knee. But go back and watch it. You'll see what I see. Or you'll see what I'm saying. People say it's like a V trigger. I go, not exactly. But it was a nice knee strike, but that pinned Billie Kay. So that ended the 100 plus day, 119, 121 day reign of, the Iconics. So the Iconics didn't even make it to the, the last two. Okay. If you gave it to the right team after this, all right, it is what it is. But the Iconics are pitch and fit, this kind of stuff. I don't know what the reason was for this, because the Iconics at least were a legit tag team. And I'm not saying the others, well, 2 out of the 3 aren't legit tag teams. Sonya and Mandy seem to get along really well. They have good on-screen chemistry. No, not like that. And Asuka and Kairi work pretty damn well together. But then Mandy taps out to Asuka. Okay, whatever. You're down to Asuka and Kairi against Alexa and Nikki. So then, after what you should have had, Asuka and Kairi win. It should have come down to Asuka and Kairi and the Iconics. And then you could have maybe had another team jump in there. But no, they had Alexa Bliss pin Kairi Sane. I want to make it clear here that I do not, as far as in the ring, I do not get what creative sees in Alexa. Now, I'm not saying Alexa's the worst in the ring. Alexa has passion for wrestling. She does have that, as opposed to Sable. And I talked to a friend of mine actually on Facebook Messenger about, Alexa. And this person, I actually had to stop talking to him for a while because they were like railing against Alexa really, really hard, like saying she's just as bad as Sable. And mind you, this is on Facebook. So if I've had anybody that I chatted with on Twitter, I ain't talking about you. I had discussions like that, so I'm just making it clear. I have a lot of social media accounts. But Alexa and Nikki Cross are the new the new women's tag team champions. Okay, so you couldn't get Nikki over on your own because you didn't want to fucking use her. So let's put her with Alexa. Okay, eventually we're going to split them up. No, we're going to put the tag titles on. The tag titles already don't mean shit anyway. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, well, Alexa's a champion, so they're going to be featured more. Fine. Don't just play the fucking favoritism here. And once again, I'm not saying that Alexa Bliss has done anything bad, because I don't think she has. She does seem to have a passion for wrestling. It's just Vince fucking loves his blondes. He does. And that's not Alexa's fault. But I do not get the point. Sonya and Mandy winning. Okay, you didn't want to have that happen. That's fine. Asuka and Kairi, there was at least a build there. And it just, unless this is going to lead to Asuka, freaking destroying Kairi and turning heel, proving that Kairi should have no friends because Io's a heel now, and then Asuka would be a heel. I just don't fucking get what you're doing. Oh, well, we got this whole thing with Alexa. Alexa ain't that great in the ring. I'm sorry, she's not. She's got great character work. She does. To me, she's a little better than AJ Lee on the mic. AJ Lee in her heyday, in my opinion. But that's all Alexa is. Is she a bad person? I don't fucking know. She doesn't seem like a bad person. Neither does Nikki Cross. But I don't see how this benefits Nikki. Oh, she's a champion. The championships are fucking meaningless. I mean, I'm not even saying they would have made that much sense or made much more. It would have made much of a difference if they went on Asuka and Kairi. But don't fucking tell me that this is a great idea. Because it's not. It's giving Alexa Bliss another championship, which she doesn't really fucking need. Nikki has one. Great. It's going to be kind of like when Sandy were the tag team champions back in NXT. You know when I remember that? Just now. Because that's how kind of muted their tag title reign was. Which is sad. Because they were actually a pretty damn good team. But anyway, they were a pretty damn good team, but they didn't have the titles that long. They only had like 3 months. But this to me just smacks of massive favoritism from creative. That's not to say that Alexa has not tried hard, and hopefully she's okay, because she has had a lot of injuries, concussions, that kind of stuff and everything. Hopefully she is okay. But I just don't get it, because I don't think it benefits anybody. I mean, you give it to Nikki and Alexa, and to me, it's just stupid. It's just really fucking stupid. It takes just a hand and just slaps it across the face of anybody that has worked hard to try and get to that point. Why didn't this match take place at SummerSlam? There are 9 matches on the SummerSlam card. I'm not for putting it on the pre-show, but for fuck's sake, if you got a 2-hour pre-show, give this one 21 minutes on the pre-show. At least it's something, and it's on a bigger stage. Why didn't they do that? They just threw it out on Raw. So they didn't care about the women here. And don't get me wrong, it got 21 minutes. I'm glad the women got featured. I certainly am glad about that. But you might as well take the women's tag titles and just throw them in the trash. That's basically what they are. What Medusa did with the WWE Women's Championship, that's essentially what it is. I would grab my garbage can, but it's currently, I'm currently cleaning it because I'm a terrible housekeeper. But anyway, the whole point is, I don't like it. I just don't. I don't think Alexa and Nikki as champions is a good idea. Oh, it'll lead to an eventual breakup and this kind of stuff. This feud does nothing for me. This pairing, this feud does nothing for me personally. If it does something for you, that's fine, because I'm not saying that it can't. Because, again, you guys have your opinions, and that is perfectly fine. But it's stupid. It is monumentally fucking stupid to have Alexa as a tag team champion when she hasn't really been able to stay all that healthy. And let's be honest, that feud with Bayley was an absolute atrocity. It barely helped Bayley. It helped her more than it did in 2017. I mean, at least creatively. But it's still not good. It's not good television. And again, just take towels and throw them in the goddamn trash. It's fucking stupid. Now, does Alexa deserve some of the hateful comments I've seen her get? Like, I saw some of the stuff like below, like WWE's post and something below Alexa's post, and I go, okay, let's back off a little bit on this, guys. Let's back off a little bit on this. And again, nobody gets more unreasonably angry about wrestling than me. And I mean, I'm getting angry even about it now, but I don't think it's not a good decision. But let's back off here a little bit. It is pretty goddamn stupid that they're champions when you had two other teams that could have benefited more from that. Yeah. And, the eventual breakup. It ain't gonna mean anything. Sorry, it ain't gonna mean anything. Now we get to Ziggler and Goldberg taking place at SummerSlam. All I'm going to say is this is a prime example of Vince McMahon relying on too many old guys. And it just, look, Goldberg wanted to wash the bad taste out of the whole thing with Saudi Arabia. Okay, great. I mean, I know it's stupid money and I don't blame him for it and anything, but, what the fuck did he think was going to happen? Two old guys trying to wrestle. And yeah, the first minute and a half were fine. I'm done with these veterans or these legends or these people that are way past their prime still wrestling. And whatever, who am I to tell people when to stop wrestling? But I just think it's stupid because all it's going to do is just take up a spot from somebody that could be more deserving. I don't know who the fuck you put with Ziggler, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm just so tired of the old people being featured in the wrong ways. Like Kurt Angle doing that whole thing with Bray, that was good. I mean, I'm still laughing at the whole Bray thing because it's so fucking goofy and everything, and I can't fucking stand it. But it's just ridiculous. So yeah, basically, I just don't understand why in the world they're doing that. But folks, guess what? To lighten the mood before I leave, my producer came in. My producer came in, and he's going to be watching TakeOver with me. So what did you think of Goldberg and Ziggler? What'd you think? So anyway, folks, I'm going to finish up this whole thing because I think the cat needs a little bit of attention. So I'm going to let him end this video. You want to end this video? All right, anyway, you agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. This is Sir. Hi. Oh, I'll see you soon.